Good afternoon. Is my audio and video clear? Nakli email is always so happy, है ना? Is my audio and video clear? Okay, let's wait for 1 minute and then we are going to begin. Right? Let's wait for 1 minute. Okay, so we are continuing with government schemes, MCQs related to these government schemes. So we have done 25 MCQs in the previous class from the set 2, and the other next 25 MCQs we are going to cover in today's class. Okay? So just a second, let me open up from where do we have to continue. Question number 26, I guess. You know? Okay. Okay. So the first question that we have over here is, let's start with the session. Please read the question very carefully, okay? So India has firmly established itself as the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, with over 1.57 lakh certificates issued by Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade for recognition of startups as of 31st December 2024. The nation's entrepreneurial landscape, fueled by more than 100 unicorns, is redefining innovation and creating new opportunities across sectors. Major hubs like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, NCR, they have been at the forefront of this transformation, while smaller cities are increasingly contributing to the momentum, with over 51% of the startups emerging from tier 2, tier 3 cities. Yep, again, we are talking about the startups, and we've also done a descriptive answer writing related to Startup India initiative also, right? So this is again the Startup India initiative. These topic related to Startup India is very, very important because we need to bring in innovation in the country, right? So based on this, let's solve a few questions. And whenever you give me the answer, please write 26A, 26B, however you want to answer the question. Okay? So the question is, Rohit and his friend Priya, they have recently incorporated a private limited company that offers AI-based agri solutions to small-scale farmers. Their startup is developing an innovative low-cost soil analysis device. The company was incorporated 2 years ago, and in the previous financial year, their turnover was 80 crores. They are now exploring government support to scale up operations, seek funding, get easier compliance processes. Based on this situation, under which scheme can they register and what specific benefits are they eligible for? A is they are not eligible under Startup India as their turnover exceeds the limit and they lack a patented product. They can register under the Startup India scheme and are eligible for capital gains tax exemption, support through fund of funds managed by SIDBI, and easier patent application processing. C is they can register only under Atal Innovation Mission but are not eligible for tax benefits under Startup India. They are eligible under Startup India but will not receive any legal or compliance related support due to private limited structure. They can only apply for funding through traditional banking channels as government startup schemes are limited to partnership firms. So what do you think is the answer to this question? Manish is saying 26B. What about you, Nakli Mail? Should I show the options again? The first option is they are not eligible under Startup India as their turnover exceeds the limit and they lack a patented product. B is they can register under the Startup India scheme and are eligible for capital gains tax exemption, support through fund of funds managed by SIDBI, easier patent application processing. या फिर they can register only under Atal Innovation Mission, not eligible tax benefits under Startup India. So Nakli Mail is saying D. D, you are saying that they are eligible under Startup India but will not receive any legal or compliance related support due to private limited structure. So the correct answer is not D, it is B. ठीक है, बी का एक बार फिर से देख लेते हैं. बी इज दे कैन रजिस्टर अंडर द स्टार्टअप इंडिया स्कीम and they are eligible for capital gains tax exemption also, support through fund of funds managed by SIDBI also, and easier patent application processing as well. So the eligibility, what is the eligibility criteria? That it should be incorporated as a private limited company, and it is a private limited company. Less than 10 years old, so it is only 2 years old. अभी हमने देखा था, right? Turnover is below 100 crores. Yes, it is below 100 crores. 80 crores हमने देखा. Working on an innovative product with potential to generate employment or wealth. Yes, they are working on an this low cost soil analysis device. And what are the benefits under the Startup India? What are the benefits? Tax exemptions on capital gains and income, ये benefit मिलेगा. Support via SIDBI's fund of funds scheme. Fast tracking of patent applications, legal and regulatory handholding. So if you meet this criteria, you will have these benefits. And this company that they're talking about, Rohit and Priya, they have fulfilled this entire eligibility criteria and they can have these benefits as well. I hope this is clear. Second question is, which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to the eligibility criteria under the Startup India initiative? Again, very simple question. Ye to you should be telling me what is the correct answer. A startup incorporated 8 years ago with an annual turnover of 105 crore are eligible. A sole proprietorship working as a new AI product on a new AI product is eligible if it fulfills the innovation criteria. A startup must be registered as a private limited company, partnership firm, or LLP to qualify. A startup formed by splitting up of an existing company is not eligible. 3 and 4 only, 1, 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 1 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. What is the right answer to this question? So 27A, you are saying 3 and 4 only. So 3 क्या है? Startup must be registered as a private limited company, partnership firm or LLP to qualify, and a startup formed by splitting up of an existing company is not eligible. So the correct answer is A, absolutely correct. First नहीं सही है because turnover should be less than 100 crore. We've seen it in the previous thing also. ठीक है? And then sole proprietorships are not eligible under the scheme. Splitting up an existing business makes a startup ineligible. Okay, because it does not become a startup then. It is not something new. You are just splitting it from a previous business, so that is also not eligible. Then the purpose of launching the self-employment and talent utilization program. So we have the SETU program, self-employment and talent utilization program under the Startup India is primarily related to what? What is the purpose? Facilitate GST refunds to startups within 30 days, provide regulatory exemptions to firms operating in tribal areas, support the core innovation ecosystem through incubation and seed funding, monitor ethical use of AI tools in startup solutions, encourage export oriented startups by subsidizing logistics. What is the answer of this question? 28th question. So we have the SETU program. What is the purpose of the SETU program? Facilitate GST refunds to startups within 30 days, providing regulatory exemptions, supporting the core innovation ecosystem, monitoring ethical use of AI tools, or encouraging export-oriented startups. So 28, C is absolutely the correct answer. It is designed to promote innovation and talent. So you can see here, talent word is here. Self-employment, talent utilization to support core innovation ecosystem through, C question, promoting innovation and talent, basically. Incubation, mentoring, seed funding and all. Okay, so C is the correct answer. A startup registered under Startup India wishes to shut down after failing to generate market traction. Which of the following provisions would most directly help in the shutdown process? Support from Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission innovation cells, relaxed exit under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, reimbursement of losses under the Credit Guarantee Fund, moratorium on tax dues for 3 years post shutdown, mandatory merger with another startup of similar nature. What is the answer? So basically, a startup wants to shut down. So what measures? How can they most? What are the following provisions can that startup take up? to continue the shutdown process. So Nakli Min is saying B, relaxed exit under the insolvency and bankruptcy code. What about you, Manish? The correct answer is B. Startup India enables fast track exit for startups through IBC provisions, which is critical for reducing the risk associated with failure. So, absolutely correct. B is the correct answer. Right? Hmm. Right, both of you correct. Next. Under the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, which of the following is not an eligible use of the financial assistance provided to startups? Not an eligible use. Conducting product trials for market readiness, building a working prototype of the product, funding expansion to international markets, commercialization of the final product, or validating proof of concept for an innovative idea. So, which is not an eligible use of financial assistance? When will you not get a financial assistance under this seed fund scheme? 30th question, what is the answer? Quickly read and tell me. The correct answer is absolutely C, funding expansion to international markets. So this seed fund scheme can be used for proof of concept also, for prototype development also, for product trials also, for market entry and commercialization also, but international markets में expansion के लिए that has not been listed as a valid usage. ठीक है, even in the government schemes, when I took up your government schemes classes, वहाँ पे भी we have done this thing, we have seen this list also. ठीक है, so that was all related to the first part of your questions. Let's read the second scheme. So first तो हो गया आपका स्टार्टअप इंडिया इनिशिएटिव से रिलेटेड, अटल इनोवेशन मिशन आ गया उसमें. ठीक है, your homework is going to be that you have to read these schemes. Then, to boost the food processing sector and reduce post-harvest losses, the government launched PMKSY, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, as a central sector umbrella scheme. This scheme subsumed earlier initiatives and introduced new ones to ensure efficient value chain development, increase farmers' income, promote agriculture-based entrepreneurship. The scheme comprises multiple components such as integrated cold chain infrastructure, food processing clusters, Operation Greens, quality assurance measures. The implementation and scope of PMKSY have evolved to include new priorities like perishable crops, rural employment generation, domestic as well as global market readiness. So based on this, let's solve this question. Which of the following correctly identifies the role of Operation Greens under PMKSY after its scope expansion? It replaced all other components of PMKSY for perishable commodities. It provides infrastructure exclusively for top or tomato, onion and potato value chains. It includes both short-term and long-term interventions for all fruits and vegetables. It supports cold chain development for non-perishable items under mega food parks. It funds only public sector undertakings and government cooperatives for market price stabilization. What is the answer? 31st question. Role of Operation Greens under your PMKSY. Answer is C, not B. B नहीं है. It provides infrastructure exclusively for tomato, onion, potato value chains. नहीं. Operation Greens, it includes both short-term also and long-term interventions for all fruits and vegetables. यही update भी थी. ठीक है. So initially it was focusing on top only, tomato, onion and potato. But under this Atmanirbhar Bharat package of 2020 and this union budget of 2021-22, this scope was expanded to include 22 perishable crops under long-term intervention and all fruits and vegetables under short-term intervention, making it top to total. So there was this, top to total, you can say, theme kind of thing, you can say, top to total. ठीक है, तो वहां पे we have shifted. Initially it was top only, but now it is total. So please remember this. Under this Operation Greens, we have under this Operation Greens, we have talked about these perishable crops which are under your long-term intervention and all fruits and vegetables under short-term intervention. ठीक है, fine. Next question is Consider the following statements regarding the agro-processing cluster component under PMKSY. Agro-processing cluster. It is designed for setting up small and medium-scale food processing units. A minimum of 10 acres of contiguous land is required for project eligibility. Only public sector undertakings are eligible to implement APCs. It is distinct from mega food parks but operates under similar infrastructure principles. Which of these are correct? 1 and 2 only? 1, 2 and 4? 1 and 4, 2, 3 and 4, or all of the above? What is the correct answer? Acha, Naveen Singh ma'am, under Operation Green also covers, it covers transportation also. Subsidies provided for transportation also. ठीक है? So what is the answer to this question? Agro processing cluster component under this. The answer is B. What have you given me the answer? C. No, the correct answer is B. APCs, they aim to set up decentralized processing units in clusters. 10 acres of land is a requirement for project approval. ठीक है, 10 acres of land होना चाहिए है, and it is not limited to public sector undertakings. NGOs भी हो सकते हैं, SHGs भी हो सकते हैं, private firms, they are also eligible. Though not as large as mega food parks, they mirror their model, but they are not very large as mega food parks. They are smaller in scale. And they are basically decentralized processing units. And decentralized रहेंगे तो local level पे, small level पे भी रहेगा. That is what is your agro processing clusters. Fine. Then, which of the following features distinguishes the food safety and quality assurance infrastructure component under PMKSY? Which of the following features distinguish the food safety and quality assurance infrastructure component under your PMKSY? Focus on direct procurement from farmers to ensure safety. Provision of HACCP, ISO 22000 and other international certifications. So these are international certifications. So will international certifications be provided? Establishment of private mandis with advanced storage. Training of agricultural extension officers for food quality testing, or creation of organic only food processing laboratories. What is the answer to this question? We are talking about food safety and quality assurance infrastructure component. So will it focus on direct recruitment from farmers to ensure safety? Or does it talk about international certifications? Does it talk about establishment of private mandis with advanced storage? Training of agricultural extension officers for food quality testing? Or creation of organic only food processing laboratories? What is the answer? Question number 33. The correct answer is B. Provision of these international certifications. See, direct procurement from farmers to ensure safety. No, if you don't even know this, तो थोड़ा सा idea लगा के we can solve this. Establishment of private mandis. This is also not possible. Private mandis वाला concept, no. The training of agricultural extension officers for food quality testing. ये भी, this is very general, कोई special नहीं है ये. Creation of organic only food processing laboratories. Organic only, no, this is not possible इतने large scale पे. सिर्फ organic food processing laboratories, that is also not possible. ठीक है, so after even eliminating, B ही आपका बन रहा है. So the food safety and quality assurance infrastructure component focuses on ensuring global standards of food safety and quality. It supports the establishment of food testing laboratories and facilitates global certifications such as HACCP, hazard analysis critical control point, ISO 22000 food safety management, and these are crucial for acceptance of processed food in international markets. ठीक है, this is the answer. The inter-scheme reallocation clause under PMKSY enables the government to the inter-scheme reallocation. ठीक है, ये वाला clause. Transfer funds from central to state governments for faster project approval. Reassign up to 25% of the original scheme outlay for course correction across PMKSY. Merge underperforming components into Operation Green's framework. Allocate 25% of food export earnings back into PMKSY schemes, cancel sanctioned projects and divert funds to Atmanirbhar Bharat schemes. What is the answer? 34th question. Inter-scheme reallocation. Manish is saying 34A. What about you, Nakli Mail? Skip. So B is the correct answer. Okay, B is the correct answer in this case, not A. Manish, reassign up to 25% of the original scheme outlay for course correction across PMKSY components. So this inter-scheme reallocation clause, अब reallocation है, that means you're talking about जो original scheme में outlay है. If you know just see the word also, reassign, reallocate, इस type का कुछ, the same word. It allows for flexibility in allocating funds between different components of PMKS, right? It ensures that resources are effectively utilized. Adjustments can be made based on midterm evaluations, and the provision of reallocating of up to 25% of the original outlay, it enables the government to correct course and ensure better execution. Okay? Which of the following is an intended outcome of the creation or expansion of food processing and preservation capacities unit scheme under your PMKSY? Support only urban food startups working with imported raw materials. Build exclusive warehousing hubs for e-commerce, food logistics. Modernize and expand food processing units in mega food parks and APCs. Establish government-owned retail outlets in Tier 1 cities. Procure crops directly from farmers and export without processing. What is the answer? 35th question. We are talking about creation or expansion of food processing and preservation capacities unit scheme. What is the answer to this question? Absolutely correct, Manish. C is the correct answer. Modernize and expand food processing units in mega food parks and APCs. So when we're talking about creation and expansion of food processing and preservation capacities unit scheme, it targets the modernization and expansion of food processing units. It operates within this mega food parks and agro-processing clusters which aim to enhance the capacity for food processing, storage and preservation. Okay? Let's move on to the next few questions. We have this National Food Security Act. So the National Food Security Act of 2013 is a landmark legislation aimed at ensuring food and nutritional security by providing access to adequate quantity of quality food at affordable prices to the people. It legally entitles up to 67% of the Indian population to receive highly subsidized food grains through the targeted public distribution system. The Act covers specific entitlements for vulnerable sections such as pregnant women, lactating mothers, children, while also embedding accountability, transparency, reforms like Aadhaar seeding, supply chain automation. The following questions test your understanding of the scheme's intricate provisions and implications. Let's see if you can solve. This is related to your National Food Security Act of 2013. Which of the following statements correctly distinguishes between primary households and Antodaya Ann households? Primary households receive 35 kg per family, while Antodaya Ann Yojana households receive 5 kg per person. Primary households are entitled to 1 kg sugar per family per month, while AAY households are not. Antodaya Ann Yojana households receive maternity benefits, while primary households do not. Primary households and Antodaya Ann Yojana both receive food grains based on per capita distribution. PHHs receive 5 kg per person. AY households receive 35 kg per person per household per month. What is the correct answer? We've done this in detail. Absolutely correct. E is the correct answer. So, under this NFSA only, we divided the people into two parts. One is your below poverty line population and Antodaya Ann Yojana households. The BPL wale are these primary households. They get 5 kg per person. And इसमें भी we have seen the division 3-1 है ना, 3-1 RWC ऐसे provision देखी थी हमने, right? And Antodaya Ann Yojana, these are poorest of the poor. These are poorest of the poor people. They get 35 kg per household per month. So E is the correct answer. Okay. And no sugar subsidies are provided. These Antodaya Ann Yojana households, they receive sugar subsidies. For under this 5 kg wale, they have this RWC. I've already taught you in the class, right? Sure. Which of the following provisions in NFSA 2013 directly aims to empower women within the household structure? Provision of sugar subsidy for women-headed households. ऐसा कुछ है. Mandatory employment guarantee for ration dealers. Issuance of ration cards in the name of the eldest woman in the household. Free sanitary products through fair price shops. Women's reservation and grievance redressal committees. Again, very easy question, very direct. Quickly give me the answer. Very direct. Exactly, C is the correct answer. The act mandates that the ration card be issued in the name of the eldest woman who is 18 years or above. Okay? In case of non-supply of entitled food grains or meals under NFSA, what mechanism has been established to address the situation? Price compensation equivalent to the market price of food grains. Employment assurance scheme as a compensation. Additional food grain allocation in the following month. Food security allowance to the affected beneficiaries. Automatic registration for Manrega benefits. What is the answer? The correct answer is absolutely D. Food security allowance to the affected beneficiaries. Automatic registration in Manrega, not at all. Elimination se bhi ho jayega. Additional food grain allocation in the following month. Problem is month mein aa rahi hai. Following month mein you're giving additional food grains. Right? Employment assurance scheme, no. Employment kyun assure karenge, when you are not getting food grains. Price compensation equivalent to the market price of food grains, no. Otherwise everybody will try to avail this only. And वो बोलेंगे कि मुझे मिला नहीं, and then they'll get the money. So this is also not possible. Because a food security allowance is provided. Which of the following correctly reflects the distribution responsibility under the joint federal framework of NFSA? Center identifies the beneficiaries, state allocation and transportation, is that so? Center has the grievance redressal, state provides the subsidy. Center allocation and transportation, state identification and implementation. Center subsidy dispersal, state retail food pricing. Center talks about rice fortification, state talks about Aadhaar seeding. What is the correct answer? 39th. Manish is saying A. Center identifies the beneficiaries. No. So Manish, A is not the correct answer. Center does not identify the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries are identified by the state. So the correct answer is C. Central government is responsible for allocation and transportation of food, but food grains, but the states, they identify the beneficiaries because ultimately हमने states में लेकर जाना है. We need to bring in towards the states. हमें food grains we have to provide in the states, right? So who's going to see who are the beneficiaries and all? State, because this is at a decentralized level. Allocation, transportation can be done by the central government, but implementation of the scheme will be done by the state government. Because we have to do it at the state level. State level पे हमें करनी है, right? I hope this is clear. Which recent reform under NFSA is most likely to reduce ghost beneficiaries, or you can call them bogus beneficiaries, fake beneficiaries, and duplicate ration cards? Online grievance registration, automation of fair price shops, rice fortification, Aadhaar seeding of ration cards, providing subsidized sugar to Antodaya Ann Yojana families. What is the answer? Ghost beneficiaries को reduce करना है. Exactly. The correct answer is D. Aadhaar seeding. And Aadhaar seeding कर देंगे तो we'll be able to identify who are fake beneficiaries or not. है ना? Online grievance registration is not related to ghost beneficiaries. Automation of fair price shops, उससे थोड़ा ना हमें पता चलेगा कि if someone is legitimate or not. Even if we bring in automation. Rice fortification, obviously not. Rice fortification. What is the meaning of rice fortification? By the way, any idea? What is the meaning of rice fortification? Any idea? Any idea what do you mean by rice fortification? Fortification of rice, fortification of food grains, including additional essential nutrients like B12. Exactly. So what happens is, fortified rice is when you are selling rice through fair price shops in the form of the shape of rice only, and you are adding nutrients to that. So you have a bulk of rice, normal rice, usi ke andar we are going to mix some rice which are fortified, which have additional nutrients. For example, there is iron deficiency among the women. So fair price shops ke through, what is going to happen is we are going to uh, provide them rice which is mixed with these fortified rice, which is mixed with these beneficial or nutrient rich uh, rice, adding vitamins and minerals to rice, iron, folic acid, etc. Exactly, very good. But there's a problem in this also. अब क्या होता है कि in Indian households what do we do is we first clean the rice, है ना. हम भिगो के रखते हैं पानी में. We clean the rice and to remove the dirt and all, and then we utilize it. Now what happens is, this fortified rice, जो ये fortified rice रहते हैं ना, they are very lightweight. These are very lightweight as compared to the regular rice. So what happens is, when these women they try to clean it, तो वो ये ऊपर ऊपर आ जाता है. ये these are little shiny से होते हैं ये. These are shinier than the normal rice. तो ऐसा लगता है कि this is not rice, this is kharab. What do? They take this out from the whenever they are cleaning it, they take this fortified rice out. बच जाता है वही जो normal rice है. That means, what does this show? That there is lack of awareness. There is lack of awareness among these women, among these people who take up this, and therefore the role of awareness is very important. आपने fortified rice बना तो दिया, you have made fortified rice, but you are not telling them that this is fortified rice. This is not your gand that you're taking out from the rice. You're not supposed to take this out. You are supposed to eat it. You are supposed to cook and eat it. But when you don't know about it, when you are not made aware about this, then this is not going to work. That is why this fortification has not really helped, because we are not aware only about this thing. Women are not aware about this thing, and this is a major problem. So awareness, कोई भी scheme लेकर आ रहे हो, कोई भी important चीज लेकर आ रहे हो, this kind of example you can write down. कोई social issue से related question आता है, कोई scheme से related question आता है, so this can be a criticism that you can write down, that this thing highlights the role of awareness, spreading awareness. ठीक है. सो इसमें सोल्यूशन यू कैन गिव इज कि फेयर प्राइस शॉप्स के टाइम पे ही वहां पे भी देयर कैन बी अ पर्सन हु इज असाइंड, जो आपको नॉलेज दे अबाउट दिस, कि व्हेनेवर यू आर कुकिंग द फूड, डू नॉट टेक आउट दिस fortified rice, ये दिस इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर यू ओनली, ऐसे से करके यू कैन प्रोवाइड दैट अवेयरनेस. तो ऐसा सोल्यूशन कैन बी प्रोवाइडेड. ठीक है. चलो, दिस इज जस्ट सम एडेड इंफॉर्मेशन. एनीवे, next, a district administration receives complaints that several eligible families are not receiving their entitled food grains under the PDS, public distribution system. Upon investigation, it is found that many ration cards are not linked to Aadhaar, and some names are duplicated across multiple cards. Additionally, the supply to certain fair price shops was disrupted due to transport issues from FCI godowns. Which of the following set of measures would best align with the provisions and reforms of the NFSA 2013 to address this situation? Immediately cancel all ration cards and restart the beneficiary identification process using the latest census data. Latest तो हमारे पास है ही नहीं है. Introduce a biometric authentication system, Aadhaar seed all ration cards, and provide food security allowance to affected beneficiaries. Privatize fair price shops. Should we do that? Privatize करें. And outsource food grain transportation to private logistic firms. Should we do that? Mandate all households to register complaints online and wait for resolution before resuming distribution. Again, I don't think this is a good solution. है ना? Wait for resolution. कब तक you going to wait? Replace the food distribution with direct cash transfer for all households in the district. Is this possible? So what is the correct answer? B is absolutely the correct answer, because first भी नहीं हो सकता. Latest census data we do not have, eliminated. इसको प्राइवेटाइज, दिस कैन नॉट हैपन. Mandate all households to register complaints online and wait. This is also not possible. कब तक they are going to wait? Replace food distribution with direct cash transfer, again not possible. So the correct answer is B. Biometric authentication लेकर आओ, आधार सीडिंग करो. These are in line with the NFSA reforms aimed at eliminating ghost beneficiaries and duplication. Food security allowance is a provision under NFSA in case of non-supply of food grains. We've already seen this. And the solution directly tackles both administrative and logistical issues without disrupting entitlements or violating any legal provision. Right, so now your NFSC questions are over. Under your Dairy Sahakar scheme implemented by the National Cooperative Development Corporation for promoting dairy-based cooperative activities, what is the maximum and the minimum project cost allowed? So what is the maximum and minimum cost project allowed in this Dairy Sahakar scheme? And this is implemented by NCDC, National Cooperative Development Corporation, and किस लिए? For dairy-based cooperative activities. 1 crore minimum, 100 crore maximum, 10 lakh minimum, 500 crore maximum, no minimum or maximum limit, 50 lakh minimum, no maximum cap, 1 crore minimum, no maximum cap. Again, this is very fact based, ratta based, right? So what is the answer? Takli Singh, 42E. What about Manish? The answer is C, no minimum or maximum limit on the project. So there is no minimum or maximum limit. Okay, so E bhi nahi hai, no minimum or maximum limit here. Remember. The Department of School Education. Now these questions are from 43 to 48. The Department of School Education and Literacy has formulated the Samagra Shiksha, an integrated scheme for school education, as a centrally sponsored scheme and is being implemented throughout the country with effect from the year 2018-19. This program subsumes the three erstwhile centrally sponsored schemes of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, and Teacher Education. It is an overarching program for the school education sector extending from preschool to class 12 and aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education at all levels of school education. It envisages the school as a continuum from preschool, primary, upper primary, secondary to senior secondary levels. So this is related to your education scheme. Let's see what all questions have been asked over here. Which of the following initiatives under Samagra Shiksha aligns with the National Education Policy of 2020 for ensuring foundational literacy and numeracy? Vidyanjali 2.0, Nipun Bharat, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya, Shiksha Shabdkosh, or Nishtha 4.0? What is the answer? Under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, which one is aligning with the NEP 2020? The correct answer is B, absolutely correct. Nipun Bharat, it is specifically designed to ensure that every child achieves foundational literacy and numeracy by grade 3. This initiative directly supports the goals which are outlined in NEP 2020 for achieving foundational literacy and numeracy for all children by 26-27. According to Samagra Shiksha, which of the following is true regarding the infrastructure and facilities provided under Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas? They provide residential and schooling facilities for boys only up to class 12. अब बालिका है, बालिका is related to girl, तो ये तो हो नहीं सकता, right? Balika is related to girl. They include the provision of sanitary pad vending machines in girls' hostels, right? They focus exclusively on early childhood education. They are limited to urban areas for children without adult protection. They provide play-based learning only for preschool children. What is the answer? regarding the facilities and infrastructure provided under Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. So this is for girls, and we're talking about the schools which are girls type schools. So the answer is B, to include the provision of sanitary pad vending machines in girls hostel. First नहीं हो सकता, focus exclusively on early childhood education, not related to Balika at all. They are limited to urban areas for children without adult protection. Absolutely not. This is not showing any correct logic. They provide play-based learning only for preschool children. No, this is also not correct. So we have this Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas. These are specifically designed to provide residential and schooling facilities for girls up to class 12. The facilities include measures to support the health and hygiene of girls, such as sanitary pad vending machines in the hostels, which is part of a broader initiative for women empowerment and health. Next, the implementation of Samagra Shiksha in hilly and sparsely populated areas is supported by which of the following initiatives? Samagra Shiksha in hilly and sparsely populated areas. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Avasiya Vidyalaya, Vidya Pravesh, Nipun Bharat, Vidyanjali 2.0 or Operational Digital Board. Forty-fifth question. Hilly and sparsely populated areas. Exactly, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Avasiya Vidyalaya. So they are specifically meant for children in hilly and sparsely populated areas who do not have adult protection. These schools provide shelter and care supporting education in such remote areas. So hilly and sparsely populated areas के लिए we have Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Avasiya Vidyalaya. Under Samagra Shiksha, which initiative directly supports the enhancement of digital education in secondary schools over 5 years? Vidyanjali 2.0, Operation Digital Board, Nipun Bharat, Shagun or Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. So this is related to enhancement of digital education in secondary schools. All these MCQs नकली मेल. I don't think मैंने ये करवाया पहले. I'm not sure. अच्छा, question 45. अच्छा, only question 45. हाँ, वो पहले हुआ है. Even I remember. I think in one of the previous classes I've done this question. Similar type of question. So under this scheme, which initiative directly supports enhancement of digital education? Is it Vidyanjali 2.0, Operation Digital Board, Nipun Bharat, Shagun, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas? अब देखो Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas नहीं हो सकता, we have already done it. Nipun Bharat also we have done it, तो वो भी नहीं हो सकता. So two the options हो गए eliminate. What about the others? 46 का answer. The correct answer is absolutely B, नकली email, Operation Digital Board. So Operation Digital Board, it is an initiative under Samagra Shiksha to support an installation of digital boards in secondary schools. So secondary schools में digital boards लेकर आना over a period of 5 years. This initiative aligns with the goal of enhancing digital education and improving the quality of teaching and learning. ठीक है? Next, in the context of Samagra Shiksha, the amendment in the Right to Education Act 2009 regarding the pupil-teacher ratio for special educators in general schools states which of the following statements? There should be one special education teacher for every 10 students with disabilities at the secondary level. I think this question, similar to this question also we've done before. There should be one special education teacher for every 15 students with disabilities at the primary level. Special educators are no longer required in general schools under Samagra Shiksha. One special education teacher for every 10 pupils with disabilities at the primary level and one for every 15 pupils at the upper primary level. Special educators are only required in Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. 47th question. The answer is D, one special education teacher for every 10 pupils with disabilities at the primary level and 15 at the upper primary level. We've done this before. है ना? So the amendment in the RTE Act specifies pupil teacher ratio कि कितने pupils हैं कितना teacher होना चाहिए. For every 10 pupils there should be one teacher. For every 10 pupils with disabilities there should be one teacher at the primary level, and for every 15 pupils with disabilities one teacher for every 15 pupils at the upper primary level. Now, what is the primary objective of the Nishtha 4.0 program under Samagra Shiksha? Providing residential facilities to students in remote areas, implementing play-based learning modules for preschool children, offering online teacher training for early childhood care and education, facilitating digital education through Operation Digital Board, supporting the improvement of foundational literacy and numeracy. 48th question. C is the correct answer. Offering online teacher training for early childhood care and education. यहाँ पे ECC is early childhood care and education. This is the full form. So offering online teacher training for these students. Take a online teacher training program to be provided, which focuses on early childhood care and education. It is designed to enhance the quality of education for young children by equipping teachers with the necessary training in early childhood education practices. Then which of the following components of PM Usha focuses on ensuring equity, access and inclusion in higher education? Multidisciplinary education and research universities, gender inclusion and equity initiatives, grants to strengthen universities, ICT-based digital infrastructure, management, monitoring, evaluation, and research. So we're talking about which component under your PM Usha which focuses on equity, access, and inclusion. Equity, access, and inclusion. The answer is gender inclusion and equity initiatives. B is the correct answer, not C. The gender inclusion and equity initiatives, this is component under PM Usha, which focuses on ensuring equity in higher education by promoting gender parity, supporting marginalized groups, and activities like sensitization workshops, combined hostels for females, ensuring accessibility in districts are part of this initiative. Okay? Then last, when under PM Usha, which of the following criteria is used to identify focus districts for funding? On some criteria is being used. High gross enrollment ratio, districts with only government-run educational institutions, low gross enrollment ratio, gender parity, proportion of underrepresented groups, areas with high student dropout rates, districts with the highest number of private institutions. What is the correct answer? 50th question. We are talking about focus districts for funding under this PM Usha. Which criteria? Manish, I'm waiting for your answer. So the correct answer is C. It's not high dropout rates. यहाँ पे देखिए low gross enrollment ratio, gender parity देखेंगे, proportion of underrepresented groups. This is going to be more. This is going to be given more priority. जो भी गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम होती है, हाई स्टूडेंट ड्रॉप आउट रेट्स इज नॉट अ मेजर थिंग. ड्रॉप आउट रेट्स आई नो इट इज अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम, बट हम ज्यादातर ये देखेंगे जेंडर पैरिटी हो गया है ना. सो अंडर दिस पीएम उषा फंडिंग it is selected on multiple criteria. So एक criteria नहीं है. One is your low gross enrollment ratio, gender parity, population proportion of underrepresented groups such as females, SCs, STs, OBCs, transgenders, and there are other factors also like aspirational districts, border areas affected by left-wing extremism. They are also considered, and this ensures that resources are directed towards those areas that need most support for improving higher education access and inclusivity. ठीक है? So that is all from my side. These are the questions that I wanted to discuss with you. Yes, Mahesh, C is the correct answer. ठीक है? These are the questions that I wanted to discuss with you. I hope this session was fruitful for you. I hope you've understood. इसी से through these MCQs only आपका बहुत कुछ revise भी हो जाता है. Sometimes you are just randomly reading the schemes, तब इतना you're not able to remember things, but after you do some MCQs, then automatically it gets ingrained in your mind. Especially for those questions जहाँ पे आपका गलत हुआ है, right? Where you have given the wrong answer, and when you're immediately corrected, that is ingrained in your mind. ठीक है? So any doubt till here? Any doubt? Let me know. Otherwise, we're going to end the session here. That is all from my side, and I'm going to meet you in my next session. If you have a doubt or anything, if you want to ask anything, you can do it in the comment section. Otherwise, let's end the session here. Okay, you two have a good day, Nakli email. Okay, great. All right then, thank you so much. Do provide your feedback at the end of the class. Do provide a rating, and let's meet in the next session. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye.